My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. My name is Arin Lindauer, and today we're going to talk about all these big old myths around you can't lose weight in perimenopause. Or how about this one? Once you hit perimenopause, weight loss is impossible. Or hormones wreck everything. So why even bother? It's like you're fighting your own body. Or your metabolism just dies when you're 40. These are all myths. So today we're going to dive deep into all things hormones, perimenopause, because I want women to be empowered. I want women to be educated. And there is a lot of BS out there on the market to make you extremely confused, to sell you all kinds of creams, powders, potions, shakes, whatever that you don't need in this time and space. And it is not true that you cannot lose weight, look great, have a rockin' body here in perimenopause. But the truth is hormones shift. So that is not wrong. And I want to absolutely highlight that your hormones shift during perimenopause. Your estrogen, your progesterone, your insulin, your cortisol, and this can cause belly fat. This can cause bloating. It can cause all fun mood swings, and it can change your energy. So I want to acknowledge this, that, hey girl, what you're feeling is actually super, super normal, but it doesn't make fat loss impossible. It makes it different. Okay. So we cannot blame our hormones. We need to work with our hormones. And so I'm going to dive deep into this with you here today. And the thing is, your metabolism does not shut off. That is a huge myth here. Your metabolism does not shut off. It becomes more sensitive. And the things that it's more sensitive to is nothing that we have a shortage on, which is stress, lack of sleep, and your nutrition not being super dialed in. What happens is we become way more sensitive to stuff that really didn't bother us in our 20s and 30s. You know, now here in our late 30s, 40s, yes, it is going to absolutely impact you. So most women do not need to work harder. This is actually a time and space when we need to actually work smarter. And so today I want to really dig into this because the problem that I see time and time again is we keep trying to do what we did in our 20s and 30s. We did tons of cardio. We worked out 6 days a week. We restricted our eating super hard. Then to binge, we'll skip meals. We do fasting, keto. Oh my gosh, if I hear keto one more time, keto does not support women in this time and space. There is a few select women that absolutely can do well with it. It's typically short term, but it is not. So following all these trendy diets like keto, fasting, doing a bunch of detoxes, this actually will tank your hormones even more. And typically your results are super temporary if you even saw any results. And the thing that I know most women are ignoring is you're ignoring sleep. Okay. But okay, here's the deal. When estrogen and progesterone are off, guess what? You're not going to sleep well, or you're going to have multiple nights that just your sleep kind of sucks. And that is a problem. And so that we can blame hormones, but there's some things that we can do about it. your stress and your recovery all are going to impact your cravings and also impacts your fat storages. So again, why we see it go right on our stomachs in this time and space. I've talked to so many women over the years here that say, Arin, like all of a sudden I have a perimenopausal belly, and it's not wrong, but it doesn't mean you can't get it off, but you absolutely have to have a different strategy than what we've done before. So the other thing that I talk heavily into with women in this time and space is you have to strength train, and you have to have muscle, because muscle is what impacts your metabolism. So as we age, we do lose lean tissue. If we have done restrictive diets, we've actually put ourselves in a worse metabolic state because your body will muscle waste. You'll lose muscle. The GLP-1 is 100% doing this to women. It's not the GLP-1's fault. It's the fault of restricting your eating less calories, not focusing on protein, and not doing proper progressive resistance training is actually what's causing the muscle wasting. So before we start attacking the GLP-1s are a tool. They work. They absolutely work, but you still have to do the right things when it comes to protein and when it comes to resistance training. Those are really, really important. No different than if we had a super restricted diet. The thing I know that's going to happen is I'm going to still be in this industry 10 years from now. And instead of hearing, well, Arin, I did Optavia, I did Medifast, I did keto, Whole30, I'm going to start hearing, well, when I was on the GLP-1, so we're just going to add this to the list of things that we've done. And so I want to share this message because there are so many things that I see women do absolutely wrong in this time and space of perimenopause. Is we're either working out like we used to when we're 20 and 30, and we're beating our head against the wall saying, hey, another camp is you are unaware of how many calories you're actually consuming. You tell me you eat healthy, then you start listing a whole day's worth of food. And I'm like, yeah, it's all healthy food. It's too much. That's another thing. So understanding the right ratio of calories and macronutrients in order to get you into fat loss, and then partnering it with the right amount of exercise. So many women, I think they want to impress me potentially. I don't know. I don't even know what it is, but I work out 6 days a week, and I'm like, God, I don't. Do I focus on movement most days? Yes. But then I strength train 3 days a week. That's it. And honestly, that's pretty much all I could do. And that's where you create very efficient, effective workouts. So what actually is going to work in perimenopause is strength training. You want to build your muscle, boost your metabolism, and improve bone density. If I have one more woman say, oh, I'm in perimenopause, so I'm in osteopenia, and that it's a death sentence, that is not. We have moved multiple women from osteopenia out of that by simply resistance training. You do not need to do jump therapy or, God, I've heard so many crazy things over the years. If you're overweight and someone tells you, hey, you're in osteopenia, and then all of a sudden they tell you you need to start doing jumping, like that is not going to be a good thing for you. I understand from the science why they're saying impact, but there are way better, safer, effective ways to help a woman with osteopenia, which is the precursor to osteoporosis. But again, it's not a death sentence. You don't have to start taking all these crazy drugs. You need to strength train and create the tensile forces that happen when you lift. It's science. It's very, very simple, but no one's explaining this and helping women understand. Also, I'll say this till probably I die, we have to be protein forward with our nutrition. And just when a woman thinks she's eating a lot of protein, it's actually not. When I encourage women to get to 100 grams of protein, that's just a starting, hey, let's get you there. And then you're actually going to increase that amount. Now, everyone is going to be a little bit different based on your body, how your body responds. And then when you increase your protein, you also have to then understand, okay, am I having bowel movements? Do I have enough fiber? Have I had enough fruits and veggies? And what are things that can help encourage bowel movements as well? That's definitely something. But what happens with a protein forward nutrition is we're going to support your lean tissue. We're going to balance your hormones naturally. This is going to affect your insulin more than anything. And it's also going to keep you satisfied. So again, when I have a woman on a GLP-1, she increases her protein. She's already had the hunger cues suppressed. Now we put protein in her body and it sits like a rock, and you're like, oh man, I don't feel good. This is too much in my system. And you gotta work through that, because yes, what you're feeling is real, but there's going to be a Goldilocks where your body finally gets over the hump. This is where it takes having a competent coach who can help you through all the different things that happen on these weight loss journeys. The other thing that we absolutely have to focus on in this perimenopausal space is managing your stress. Now, I'm here to tell you that we have no shortage of stress. And I think too, when we're in our 40s and 50s, it's kind of an interesting time and space. We still have kiddos potentially at home, or if you are like me, you had kids a little bit later. So we have younger kids at home. Now you have aging parents. And so we're in this time and space where it's like you're over here trying to manage the house and kids and all the things. And then you have your parents that you're constantly like, are they okay? What's going on? What should I be doing to support and help? And it's just a very interesting time and space for us. So I'm here to say we have no shortage of stress, but it's all of our perception to the reality. It's all of our response to the stress. I have had to learn how to really manage my stress when it comes to our kiddos and when it comes to my parents, and understanding that I get to choose how I respond. I can fly off the handle when something happens with my kiddo and I necessarily don't like it and I'm having to advocate for him. Or I can choose to handle it with more grace, ask more questions, ask better questions. I do best when I take personal responsibility to find the right solution. When it comes to my parents, I have done so much better to just simply love them and to not take on the stress of all the things that they're going through. And I don't need to teach any lessons. It's very challenging to, at this stage, it's typically health stuff that aging parents are experiencing. And it's very, very challenging because they don't want to be lectured, especially being in this space. I think it's even more challenging for me. And I have had to learn to truly love them through this season, be there for them by all means, whatever they need. But on the other hand, I don't have to take on that stress. And this is a skill set that you have to build. So it doesn't just come naturally for us. We are used to flying off the handle. Things are always a crisis. And especially when it comes to our kids. I remember whenever I would get a health note from the nurse's office and all of a sudden my mama panic instincts would happen. And I've done a really good job of like, they're safe. They're being looked after. Everything's okay. This isn't a crisis. If I can't go pick them up right now, they'll be okay. They may have to sit in the nurse's office for a moment, but everybody's going to be okay. Like, you can only do what you can do. And I think when we're always in this fight or flight, it does not support our hormones. So you want to think about, how can I manage my stress a little bit better? How can I reframe expectations? How can I reframe my reaction to things? And how can I try to get better sleep? What can I do to ensure, because this is only going to impact cortisol, and this is also going to help then with the belly fat. Also, we need to do smarter cardio. I don't even want to call it cardio. It's really just walking. Like, so many women would benefit from just simply walking, hitting 10,000 steps every day, and sleeping close enough to 7 hours. It's amazing how much you can balance out your hormones naturally in perimenopause when you just simply focus on these super, like, it's free, right? And then it's consistency. That is another thing I will tell you is women will look at me and think, oh, she's just on all these things. That's the reason she looks like this. No, 100% not. This is me showing up every single day, doing the same damn thing every single day. Reasonably speaking, I eat the same flippin' breakfast every single day, and it works for me. Maybe I vary it up with a shake, but I eat the same darn things pretty much every single day. Now with variety, dinner always has variety. Lunch, can be different things just because, again, you get bored. But what I mean by the same darn things is I'm focusing on that protein. What does that look like? How can I easily get that in? And I don't overcomplicate things. Yes, tastes will change, but reasonably speaking, there's very few things that we need to adapt when it comes to that. We like what we like, and when it works, just let it work and let it be easy. The other thing is I have consistently lifted for God probably the better part of 20 years, give or take those 6-8 weeks between having the kids. I can name very, very few times that I haven't gotten a lift in the gym. And if I don't lift, it's almost like I start twitching or something, I guess. But this is where I'll tell you, in perimenopause, it takes the intentional right stuff, but it takes doing it way longer than any of us want to do. I remind my clients all the time, if this is boring, it is working. That the second you think you need something else, you need to change things up, especially when it's working. That's always a fun one for me, is when a client says, what else should I be doing? But yet the scale's always going down. Food all is working. They feel really good. And it's like, what else should I be doing? And I'm like, OMG, just stay focused. But even myself, it's like, what else can I do? And I totally respect that. But the bottom line is perimenopause is not a death sentence. It doesn't mean you can't lose weight. And I really want women to stop blaming their hormones, because that is not the reason you're not losing weight. You have to align the right actions. And for everyone, it's going to be just a little bit different how your body responds. But it's amazing. The second I get a woman into my program, we really peel things back, build things slowly, and you will question, is this actually working for me? And I'm here to share with you that the simpler we keep this, the better. Everything works when it's simple, when it's easy, and we don't overcomplicate any aspect of this process. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you're taking a lot away from this, because perimenopause does not need to be a time and space where we make our lives harder. Perimenopause needs to be a time and space where we actually just kind of go all in, and we realize that, hey, maybe I do need some bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, but if you're not getting labs done every 90 days, all you're doing is guessing. This is just a bunch of guesswork. And so anyone that tells you, no, you don't need to do blood work, your hormones are always changing, that's exactly why you need to do blood work, and you need to strategically work with someone who understands this. They do this every 90 days. They're going to recheck your values, and they're going to instruct you to do this around or as on or as close to your 21st day of your cycle, because that's going to give us the best picture of where your hormones are actually sitting. So I want you to come to me with all the questions around perimenopause and actually losing weight. And I want you to be empowered that this isn't a time and space where you can't lose weight. You just have to have the right strategy.